What is up, Gorilla Nation? It is Relentless here, bringing you yet another Division 2 vendor reset video. It is currently January the 14th. We'll start out first here at the base of operations, moving on to the clan vendor, dark zones, and then finally the settlements. So starting here first, we have a converted SMG-9. Base is 13,191. Ignited, extra, protected reload. Black Market AKM 14,824 base with eyeless, jazz hands, and spirit fingers with Zen. Next, we have a D50 48,169 with vindictive, accurate, and double duty. A Badger Moth backpack with 20,899 health, 3% weapon damage, 194 skill power, and 12% skill haste with a utility mod slot. Moving on, we have a Fenris chest piece. 10% headshot damage, 21,849 health, 8.5% crit hit chance with Berserk, Destructive, and a defensive mod slot. Not too shabby. There are better ones out there, especially with an offensive mod slot. But overall, if you're trying to do like some kind of hybrid build or whatever, you can go this route. But, you probably can find better ones just by farming the Fenris Pacific loot locations. Next, we have an offensive mod slot, 1.5% weapon damage, 4% get the fuck out of here, and then 2% needs to not even be in the game. Next, we have a drone mod with 44.3% duration, and then finally we have a turret mod with 60.5% health. Now let's run on over to the level 30 clan vendor. Alright, here at the level 30 clan vendor, we have Fox's Prayer knee pads. Good base baked in armor at 29.2k with 13,400 health. You can easily switch that over to an armor based value, either percentage or numerical. And it has perfectly entrenched. Headshots from cover repair 15% of your armor. Notice it says headshots from cover, not headshot kills from cover. So just dinging headshots with the NPCs or player will repair 15% of your armor. It requires a rifle or marksman rifle with an offensive mod slot. Next, we have True Patriot gloves with 5% LMG damage and 6% marksman rifle damage. Moving on, Negotiator's Dilemma gloves with 2.5% health and 317 skill power. Next, we have Negotiator's Dilemma holster, 7,025 health, 33% skill haste, defensive, and utility mod slot, 32.1k base armor. Next, we have a Deseros. I know I'm butchered that name, but anyways, it's a revolver. It's a pistol. 45,349 base damage with steady-handed distance and recharged. Next, we have a Paratrooper STD, the kind that Patrick Wolf will probably give you because he contracts those by humping all those sheep of his. With Ranger, Jazz Hands, Protected Deploy. Next, we have a custom P416. 13,193 base damage with strained, extra, and double duty. We have another Fenris chest piece with 11% headshot damage, 22,452 armor, 4% weapon damage, payload, self-adjusting, and 1 offensive mod slot. Next, we have an M16A2, 22,460 health, perpetuation, stable, and Zen. Suck Me Off holster with 1.5% crit hit chance, 6% crit hit damage, 272 skill power with self-adjusting. Araldi Holdings gloves, 11% marksman rifle damage with kneecapped. Next, we have a defensive mod with 6435 health, 1.5% extra incoming healing, and then 11% skill health. Moving on, we have a Firefly mod with 45% damage. Next, we have a utility mod with plus 83 skill power, 1% grenade damage, and then 4.5% burn damage. Moving on, a turret mod with 77.1% skill haste. So that's going to wrap it up here at the base of operations. We'll see you guys in DZ East. Alright, we just arrived in DZ East. This vendor has an M700 Carbon with steady-handed, jazz hands, and Zen. An M249B, 13,759 base damage with eyeless and accurate with double duty. An Alp Summit Mask with 11,343 health on kill and dialed in, which is while aiming gained 15% weapon stability, which is basically a useless talent, especially even with the unhinged LMGs. It's not necessary whatsoever, so it's just a waste of talent. Terrible mask. Next, we have a Suck Me Off holster with 4% crit damage, 2799 health on kill, then 19,311 health with skill duration. Moving on, a utility systems mod with 83 skill power, 171 turret skill power, and 85 Chem Launcher skill power. Next, we have that Chem Launcher mod with 43.4% damage, a Hive mod with 43.9% health, and then finally a Pulse mod with 190.2% remote skill haste. On to DZ South. We'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, we've just arrived in DZ South. This vendor has a Vector SBR 45 ACP, 8992 base damage with Unwavering Extra and then Rooted, an F2000 with 10503 base damage, kind of low, with Reformation, Distance, and Cannon. Next we have an M45A1 with Strained, Jazz Hands, Protected Deploy, a Badger Muff backpack with 10,815 armor, 6% total armor, 13% skill haste, and then 10,044 health with a defensive mod slot. Moving on, we have a Prominence Defense chest piece with 3.5% weapon damage, 13% critical hit damage, 10,591 armor, hardened with a utility and defensive mod slot. Moving on, we have an offensive mod with 1% weapon damage, 2.5%, this is trash, and then a 2% critical hit chance. Next, we have a drone mod with 46.3% duration, and finally a turret mod at 93% health. Moving on to DZ. Alright, we arrived in DZ West. This one has a Black Market Sausage with Ignited, Optimized, and Cannon, a Lightweight M4, Steady-Handed, Jazz Hands, and Cannon, Alps Summit Gloves, 10% SMG damage with Compensated and a Utility mod slot, and then a Heliguard Knee Pads, has Wild and Cover, handling is increased by 25% by form of Braced with 10.5% total armor, and of course the 2 defensive mod slots. Of course the based baked-in armor is only 25.2, so it's a little on the low side, so you probably be and can find better Heliguard knee pads just forming for them. Next we have a defensive systems mod with 3970 health, 9% health regen, and then 3.5% extra incoming healing. Next we have a Poke Heal Ball with plus 6 extra cluster mines, a shield mod with 99.2% health, and then finally a Firefly with plus 3% max targets. On to the settlements. We'll see you guys. Alright, we've just arrived here at the campus settlement. We have a Model 700, 98,001 base damage with Ranger Accurate and Protected Deploy. A Black Market M60E6, 14,781 base damage with Ignited, Extra, and Greased. Kind of low on the base damage side. A Daben Buster's Mask with 29% damage to elites, 2% critical hit chance, and then destructive. A China Light Industries holster with 585 skill power and 2.5% critical hit damage. A Utility System Assistance mod, 125 skill power, 3% explosive damage, and 1.5% extra outgoing healing. Next, we have a Chem Launcher mod with 67% skill haste, a Hive mod at 90% radius, and then finally a 174.4% remote skill haste for a Pulse. Moving on to the theater, and that'll wrap up this vendor reset. Alright, we're here at the final stop on this vendor reset here at the theater. Finally, we have a Black Market Sausage with 76,370 base, Ignited, Optimized, and Rascally. No, not the rabbit. That's actually the weapon talent. Next, we have an M16A2 with Steady-Handed, Distance, and Cannon. Fenris Gloves with 5575 health, 5% assault rifle damage with Devastating. This is actually not a bad pair of gloves. As you can see, the Fenris pair that I have on, of course, I would be better off with that health there instead of the crit chance. It's just I only have 1,800 more base armor, level 500 gear score versus 495. So a decent pair of gloves, especially if you're looking for just a little bit more health. Plus, I mean, you would value that 55, 75 health over 1.5% crit chance anyways. Moving on, Badger Muff knee pads with 4.5% total armor and 7368 armor with an offensive mod slot. A Defensive Protocol Resilience mod, 6150 health, 19% shock resistance, and then 6% bleed resistance. A Poke Heal Ball, or Seeker Mine, with 42.8% health. A Shield mod of 79% skill haste. And finally, a Firefly mod with 9.7% blind duration. As I always say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So there are a few items, especially those Fox's Prayer knee pads, those Fenris gloves, little odds and ends. Some people can get some value out of them, and some will find them trash. But these are the items that are available this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you fudging later.